Okay, so again, NME RB0 hydraulics and pneumatics. So now we are going to discuss about hydraulic pumps, right? So I hope you may know the difference between hydraulics as well as pneumatics. You may know some introduction part, right? So the first one is hydraulic pumps. So the transfer of energy in hydraulic circuits. In every system we have an input, output, and then processing unit, right? So in hydraulic circuit, the input energy may be the electrical energy or thermal energy, right? So input energy may be the electrical energy or thermal energy. It is generated by the electrical motor or combustion engine, right? So this is what input devices. And we have a hydraulic circuits. So it consists of hydraulic pump and then valves as well as actuators, cylinders or motors. So it is the pumps is coupled with the electrical motor. So whenever you switch on the motor, the pump will works. This pump is used to convert electrical energy to hydraulic energy, right? And the hydraulic energy is transferred to the cylinder or motor, whatever the actuator. It is done by the valves. It is a control valves. So we can control direction, flow or pressure. And then the output is connected with our requirement in terms of lift. If you consider hydraulic lift, the lift is an output device. So the cylinder is connected with the lift. The lift is used to move the object or lift the object, right? So this is the energy transfers. So the general elements of hydraulic system. So for hydraulic system, we need a tank or reservoir to hold hydraulic oil, right? So we need a tank or reservoir to hold the hydraulic oil. The second one, we need a pump to force the oil through the system, right? So we need a pump. The third one is the electric motor. It acts as the prime mover for pump. The pump is working with the help of electric motor. Again, the fourth one is we need a valves to control oil direction, pressure and flow rate, right? This is what control devices. And finally, we need an actuator to convert pressure of the oil into mechanical force or torque or to the useful work, right? So actuator is a device which converts one form of energy, pressure. The pressure form of hydraulic energy is converted to some useful work. So actuator can be linear or can be rotary, right? So if you use if the actuation movement is linear, then we say it's a cylinder. So linear cylinder. If the actuation may be the rotary, then we say it's a motors, right? So we have actuator. Finally, we have a connecting device called pipe. It is used to connect various elements in a hydraulic systems, right? So this is the general components. One of the best example is in our home, right? So in our home we have a water tank. So the top of home you have a water tank. It is a device. It is a storage place where you stored all your waters, right? So tank. Assume that it's a tank. So if you want to transfer water from tank to some other places, but in our home it is traveled via gravity. Assume that if you want to transfer one place to another place, you need a pump, right? So the pumping means it will create the pressure to flow, to generate the flow, right? So the pump is working with the help of electric motor, right? So we can transfer the flow. That for fluid movement we need to control pressure, flow or direction. That is what that is called, we use valves. And actuator is the output device, right? So it may be the linear actuator or it may be the rotary actuator. Linear actuator means cylinder, rotary actuator means motors, all right? And we use piping to connect various hydraulic elements, right? So this is one of the examples for linear hydraulic actuator. So so this is a reservoir. Again, this is a reservoir. The oil or the water is stored here, a reservoir. So we have a pump. We have a pump in C, and it is coupled with the electric motor. So if you switch on the electric motor, the pump will work, right? So it will create the vacuum, right? So it will create the vacuum. So the water is or the oil is enter inside the pump, and the oil is moved to the with the help of pipe, right? With the help of pipe. It may be, this one is the pressure control valve or pressure relief valve. If you want to control pressure, you can control it. The next it's a direction control valve, right? So it will change. It is used to change the direction of flow, right? So it's a direction control valve. Again, we have a flow control valve. The F is a flow control valve, and we have a check valve, right? So we are going to see what it is, check valve. And all the pipelines are finally connected with the cylinders. It is a actuators. So the cylinders comes with the piston. It will move linearly. So it's a linear actuator. This is the hydraulic elements, right? The second one is a rotary actuator. So here also we have a reservoir and a pump. The pump is connected with the motor, and we have a valves, right? We have a valves, and it is connected to the rotary actuators called motors. Right, so rotary actuators called motors. Right, so generally that we require tank or fluid or tank or and fluid. So fluid means it may be oil or it may be the water, or it may be the petroleum product or something. For this purpose, we need a reservoir. To store fluid, we need a reservoir or tank. The second one is energy converters. So pump, motors and actuators. So in pumps, it is used to convert mechanical energy or electric energy into hydraulic energy. Motors, again, it is transfer the hydraulic energy. Actuator, it will convert hydraulic energy into some useful work. It is actuator. Again, we have a control device, DCV, BCV, FCV. So DCV stands for direction control valve, PCV stands for pressure control valve, FCV stands for flow control valve, right? So we can control direction, flow and pressure. And we may have some accessories like accumulators. So accumulators act as a buffer. Buffer in the sense, in our bike we have a reservoir, right? So it's the emergency. So in hydraulic circuits we may use some accumulator. We will see what it is, right? And we have a connecting device called piping, etc. And sometimes we use electrical and electronic component like power units. So these are some of the elements of hydraulic systems. So we will see detailedly. So energy converters, it may be the hydraulic pump. It may have two types, fixed displacement and variable displacement. And fixed displacement, we have many types like gear, van, axial, radial and screw. Similarly, variable displacement, we have a van, axial and radial piston pumps. Similarly, we have a hydraulic pumps. There are two classifications for hydraulic pumps. One is a fixed displacement. Again, another one is a variable displacement. Here the gear motors, van motors, axial piston motors and radial piston motors. Variable displacement, van, axial and then radial. Right. So the radial may be the fixed displacement or variable in terms of hydraulic motors. And we may have a rotary actuators. Rotary actuator generally is a fixed displacement only. So parallel piston motors or van motors. Hydraulic cylinders, it may be the single acting cylinder, double acting cylinder, telescopic cylinders. Right. So single acting, double acting and then telescopic. So single acting in the sense we have only one port for, or one port for inlet as well as outlet. So we have a one port, right? We have only one port. The port will act as an inlet and outlet. But double acting, we have two ports, right? So we have two ports. One port acts as an input and another port acts as an output. It is vice versa. So if you use any one of the port as an input, then the other port will act as an output port. It is a double acting. Telescopic means better example is our umbrella, right? So our umbrella, the rod, it is one of the examples for telescopic. So it will expand, right? So umbrella rod is expandable up to a particular height. It is called telescopic cylinders, right? So this is what hydraulic cylinders. The next one is the control elements. As I said clearly, we can control direction, pressure, flow. In terms of direction, we can control start or direction, stop, pilot operated, In terms of force, we can control force or direct or pilot operated. Flow means we can control the velocity, right? So these are some of the examples for direction control valve, like directional pop-out valves, directional spool valve, check valves. It's a non-return valve. So non-return valve, in the sense it is a one-way communication. It acts as a one-way, right? So it's a non-return valve. So the pressure valves or pressure relief valves, these are examples for pressure valves. Flow control valve, it may be the depends, right? 3x2, 4x2, 5x2. It depends. It has a variety of flow control valves, right? So in terms of power units, it may be the power bank or oil tank or other power sources. And then accessories, we may have accumulator or filter. Sometimes in order to remove foreign material, we can use filters, right? And then pressure switches, indicators and monitoring elements, heat exchangers. So hydraulics, it is sensitive to the temperature. So to avoid temperature variations, we use heat exchangers, right? So the basic is hydraulic pump. So the hydraulic pump is heart of hydraulic system, right? So it converts mechanical energy into hydraulic energy, right? So it converts mechanical energy into hydraulic energy. That mechanical energy is delivered to a pump, right? So delivered to the pump via prime mover such as electric motor or engine, right? So due to the mechanical action, the pump creates a partial vacuum at inlet, right? So how the pumps works, right? So simply, if they ask how the pump works, the pump have a inlet and outlet, right? The pump have a inlet and outlet. The pumping actions takes place for suction stroke. For suction stroke, inlet will open, but outlet still remain closed. So the air is sucked. Similarly, for delivering stroke, inlet is closed, the output is open, then air is delivered to the particular system. So due to the mechanical action, the pump creates a partial vacuum at an inlet. This permits atmosphere pressure to force the fluid through the inlet line and into the pump, right? So the partial vacuum permits atmospheric pressure to force the fluid through the inlet line and into the pump. Then the pump pushes the fluids into the hydraulic system, right? So this is a simple working hydraulic pumps. So we have three classifications based on displacement. We have a non-displaced positive displacement pump or positive displacement pump. Similarly, based on delivery, we have a constant delivery or variable delivery. Similarly, based on motion, we have a rotary pump and then reciprocating pumps. Okay, the first one is a non-positive displacement and positive displacement. This is based on the displacement, right? So the displacement, if it is constant one, then we say it's a positive displacement. If the displacement is varied, then we say it's a non-positive displacement. So generally we use positive displacement pumps only, right? So and then delivery, if you want a constant delivery, then we say constant delivery pumps. Sometimes the delivery may be the variable one, then you can say variable delivery pumps. In terms of motion, if it is a linear, then we say reciprocating pump. If it is a rotary, then it's a rotary pump, right? So we have three classifications, right? So we are going to see one by one. The first one is a non-positive displacement pump. Generally, it is used for low pressure, high volume flow applications. It is not capable of withstanding high pressures. That's why we use little in day-to-day life. So little used in the fluid power field. Generally, we won't use a non-positive displacement pump because it will used only for low pressure, high volume flow applications only. Right, so the maximum pressure is limited to 250 to 300 psi. So we cannot use more than 300 psi. And this type of pump is primarily used for transporting the fluid from one location to the another location. Right, so one of the example is centrifugal pump. We have two types: centrifugal pump, axial flow propeller pumps. Right, so non-positive displacement generally used for low pressure and it not used widely, right? So it is used for some application allowed. We have two types, centrifugal pump and then axial flow propeller pumps. So the next one is a positive displacement pump, universally used for fluid power system. So where generally used pump is positive displacement pump, because it has many advantages compared to non-positive displacement pump. As the name implies, a positive displacement pump ejects a fixed amount of fluid into the hydraulic system. So we can say constant delivery, right? So the pump ejects a fixed amount of fluid into the hydraulic system per revolution of pump soft rotation. So for every soft rotation, it will deliver the constant pressure. Right? So capable of overcoming the pressure resulting from the mechanical loads on the system as well as the resistance to flow due to the frictions. Right? So for non-positive displacement, one of the limitation is it cannot withstand more load and it may be affected via resistance, flow resistance. But positive displacement, it capable of overcoming the pressure as well as load and resistance. Right? So we have three types. One is a gear, van, and then piston types. So if you compare positive and non-positive displacement, so we have many advantages. Right? So one is high pressure capacity. So positive displacement pump has a high pressure capability up to 12,000 psi, and it is a small and compact size, is very compacted one. You can get volumetric efficiency high, so we can get high volumetric efficiency. Small changes in efficiency throughout the design pressure changes. So if you change any pressure, the small changes in efficiency only. So right. So greater flexibility of performance. This is some advantages for positive displacement pump compared to non-positive displacement. Right. So now we are going to compare positive and non-positive. So the flow rate does not change with the head, then we say it's a positive. So flow rate is a constant one. Right. So flow rate is a constant one. Non-positive displacement, the flow rate decreases with the head. Right. So it depends on the head. The flow rate is not much affected by the viscosity of fluid. In positive displacement form, flow rate is not much affected by the viscosity of fluid, but in non-positive displacement, it will decreases with the viscosity. So indirectly proportional, right? So efficiency is almost constant with the head in positive displacement, but the efficiency increases with the head at first and then decreases. So efficiency may changes in non-positive displacement. So for this reason, we use only positive displacement pump for many applications. Right. So the next one is a pumping theory. Okay. So how the pump works. Right. So we have two strokes. One is a suction stroke. Another one is a delivery stroke. So this is the reservoir or tank. The oils are stored here, and we have a breather for air circulation. Right. So we have air, and then we have a strainer. That is a filter. Right. So that reservoir is connected with the cylinder via pipe. Right. So via pipe. So if the cylinder piston ram moves outwards, assume that the cylinder piston moves outward, the initial vacuum is created. The pressure is decreased. So the initial vacuum is created. So the fluid is pushed into the cylinder. So the inlet port is open. The liquid is pushed to the cylinder. At the same time, outlet is still remain closed. Right. So it is closed one. Now the ram moves inward, right? So for delivery stroke, the ram moves inward. The piston inlet port is closed, but outlet port is open. So the liquid, whatever the liquid present inside the cylinder, it will move through outlet. So outlet valve is open, so it will move. So suction stroke, ram moves outward, so creates a partial vacuum inside the cylinder. It is the inside vacuum is used to push the fluid. So inlet is open, so the fluid is pushed to the inside the cylinder, and outlet is closed. It is a for suction stroke. For delivery stroke, the ram moves inward, so inlet port is closed, outlet port is open, and it will move through the outlet port. Right? This is what a pumping theory. Okay, so this is the first part of hydraulic pumps.